Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we'll be doing some Rising Heat into England 3. This is the third video in my England 1 to 6 series where we play through each individual level of England. In this level of England, we are going to be getting the High Immigration card, and that is going to be an additional build card that will take place before the Ravage action. Let me explain what happens. So here's that extra build card. Basically, invaders will build, then they will ravage, and then they will build again. Essentially, what this does is it adds more builds, which kind of combos well with England level 1 rule, basically creating it, making it more challenging to create those pockets. In addition, it further pressures the loss condition, and it can create these lands that I call poison lands. I talked about this in the first video, but basically you may have a land that's building, and then it may come up in the ravage, and usually it occurs when like coastal kind of overlaps. But you may have like a land that's coastal that will immediately build, and then follow it up and will ravage, and you won't have much counterplay. Um, because we're playing level England or England level 3, once a stage 2 card lines up here, this high immigration tile disappears. And I've chosen Rising Heat for this match. I wanted to pick more of a control-oriented spirit, and Rising Heat is a kind of a mix of control and offense. We got Sands starting. All right. And I'm going to do the typical build that I do with Rising Heat, and that's a G3 spam. With that minor in this presence, we'll throw over here an E7. Spur is pretty interesting. It is that fire air, so it's on element. Part of me wants to just play Call of the Dawnways, though. I am a little scared the fact that the Sands decided to come up first. We really don't have many answers for it. Prowling Panther is one of the worst miners in the game. I'm really between Hanways and Spur. Sky's Herald isn't bad either. Maybe I just skip this. I usually take Blight the Scale, but unfortunately, yeah, maybe. I was really hoping for a defend to start off. I could play maybe like Call on Herders. Turn 1, stop this, take the Blight on E1, and then handle E1 later. I just really wanted to create that pocket, but does not look like that's going to be possible this game. Guess I could just play this. Spur is, let's try Spur. Maybe I can use this to hyper accelerate myself. I think I just do one card, and be interesting if I'm actually supposed to grab Sky's Herald. I gather 2 Dahan here and throw these there. Push, push. Let's actually, I really want to try that instead. We do Sky's Herald. This is very interesting. Sky's Herald, gathering 2 Dahan. Gather both Dahan into my E7. And then I'll have Call on Herders. And let's see how this plays out. Raising Retaliation, Sands build, and the Explore is Mountain. And we use Call on Herders, gathering 2 Dahan into my E7, and then I get to push 4 things. We're going to push this town. I wanted to push the town to the Sands. It might be a little risky, though. And then I get to push 3 things. We'll push 2 Dahan this way. We do that, and we can kind of create a little pocket there. Time passes, and we're going to G3 bottom again. Getting a minor. And we did get a Fire Earth, which is pretty cool. Or Fire Earth with Shore Seas. Voracious Growth is blight removal, but it's not the land that I wanted on. I wanted in that Sands. I think, and we got Scour, which is a fast destroy a bunch of buildings. Scour would have a lot more value if this was England level 5, where the towns have extra health. I think it's probably Shore Seas, because we could stay on element and add Badlands to the coast. We'll get a lot of value in the late game. And I actually think we probably wait here. I might be able to Stinging Sandstorm, killing the town, and I can skip this mountain. And then next turn I play these cards, but then I won't get any innates. I could actually play this turn. Play these three the next turn. Maybe I just do this. One fear and skip the ravage here, I guess. So this is at 3 buildings, and this is where we have to kind of start counting. So this is at 3 buildings. It'll be at 4 after the high migration, and it will be at 5 after the escalation. Assuming the first stage 2 is a escalation, which you always have to do. I think that's probably fine. And if that's the case, then I probably put this presence here in E1 so I don't lose it to the Ravage on E5. And then I can use Stinging Sandstorm, gathering this presence in there. Okay, I think we got a pretty cohesive plan here. And we are taking quite a bit of Blight, though. Taking Blight here, here, and here. But maybe we get to Han Defend or Beast Damage. Instead, we build there, which is extra scary. So let's add a Wilds to E8. We build there, so now that land's going to be at 6. We actually got one of the edge case events. Beast Destroy. Dahan Ravage at the same time. Dang, okay, so Sans Ravage and Mountain Build. So probably we'll go Blighted. And that's dead. Explore is Wetlands. Oh, and I probably should have put this over here on E4. That was a slight mistake. That passes. It's G3 again. Getting a minor. There we go. I was like, we really need to find that defend. We did. I think that's probably the play here. Though we won't be able to get our innates. It's probably still fine though. Then we go presence over here. And we do these 3 cards. Yikes, we just miss all of our innates, but I think we do that so that we can get the defend 5 here. Because I think we can defend the coast with sap. And I mean, passive Call to Ferocity, passed up Enticing Splendor, but I think it's worth it. And then we're playing towards the lost condition with Stinging Sandstorm and Shore Seas. See what that event is. Year's Little Rain. Wow. I guess we have to pay I guess we have 2 water, so we just pay 2 energy. Sure. So guess we get to prolive. Pay the 2 energy. We've paid for it. We now get to add a presence. We'll throw that presence from bottom track and put it over here onto E7. And okay, so Sans single build. Build here on E1. Mountain Ravage, blighting here, wetlands build. And the Explorer is jungle. And like I said, escalation, building, and our E1. With the Explorer jungle, yeah. Putting the wilds here was just a big, big mistake. It's a shame. Okay. And they'll be building a mountain first. Okay, so we want to do Shore Seas, One Fear, Badlands Wilds, and I basically have planned. Oops, I forgot to put those on. I had planned to do this innate Shore Seas, and then I have my Stinging Sandstorm to kind of handle this land a little bit. One Fear, kill 2 towns. That's because it does 1 damage to a town, and in the Badlands, an additional damage. There we go. And then I have a defend for E4 if I need to. Okay, G1 Reclaim. Looking for an energy boon. These are very solid picks. Wow, these are actually really good. Shadows is like probably the weakest. Maybe not. So Unquenchable, adding more Badlands as well as being on elements. Part of me just wants to kind of scale up for a really big next turn. So I think what we do this turn is we play Sky's Herald and Sap. And then next turn, Sky's Herald, Sap, and then we grab Dark Entangled to defend this land, and we can skip the other. And then next turn we have Dark Entangled. This. Oh, we just don't have the energy though. 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this. It's 5 energy. We're gonna actually we will have 5 energy. Yeah, so we'll be able to play that. Interesting. Okay. So Sky's Herald will bring back a destroyed presence, gathering 2 to Han. I guess we'll gather these two. I'm gathering these two and not the one on E6 because I want to prevent cultural asim. That's it, Sky's Herald. We'll push the Blights to E3. And we'll play Sap to give me my defend 5 there. Events. Bureaucrats. This is one of the events that's somewhat helpful. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, though it doesn't matter. We have Terrifying Beast, doesn't matter, and then Coordinated Defense, so we would have gotten our defend anyway. Beer card, push 2 from an inland land, doesn't do much against England. Throw that Explorer over here. Mountain build, 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 wetland ravage, jungle build, explore is sands with an escalation. Building in the sands here. And I actually made a slight mistake here. Luckily I have a skip, but that slight mistake is I actually this land has 5 buildings, and it's going to build going to 6, and then it can escalate going to 7. So I have to play around it escalating, and that kind of feels bad. It means I'll, like I said, go blighted this turn, and that all stems from this card here, Sprawl. One of the edge cases added that extra building onto the sands, and it's going to matter. We're going to put this presence over here on E3. We chose G3 again. We're going to get a minor. We were looking for a defend, and we got a defend. So, looks like we get to save the lands. Though I don't know if we want to. We could do these. We could do this. Let's do Nature's Res. That's the defend. We could do a ton of damage in the slow. Yeah, it's probably fine. Dark Entangled, 2 fear. I mean, I'm just playing it safe. And this is where using Searing Heat on ourselves would help, but we're not going to. 1 fear, skipping a build action. We're going to skip the build action in the sands here. And I think instead of Stinging Sandstorm, I'm going to use Shore Seas, adding more Badlands so I can do more damage on that coast. Fence, beast damage, nice. Map makers and adding to Han to a land without tokens. Fear cards, 1 damage to land matching the Ravage card. Okay. Wetland build. Jungle Ravage. Sands build. We skip a build, but we do build on E6. Explore is mountain with map makers. Escalation, building on our E1. Okay, and that was map makers. Oh, actually, it's only 1 explorer because we have a wilds over here on E8. Shore Seas, 1 fear. Badlands, wilds. And we use our innate, which is going to be 4 damage plus 2 damage from the 2 Badlands. So it'll be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kill all of that. And I can defend this. And I guess we'll go from there. So kill 3 cities. Oh, and we actually, because we have the stage 2, we lose that. There we go. G1 reclaim. And I wonder if I was supposed to, now that I'm looking back at this game, oh, there's Carapace, another defend, and also Sear Anger. But I was thinking maybe I was supposed to just let one of these lands go and just let the blight through. I mean, and then kind of go from there. And oh, I actually didn't even need the defend, but defend works. Play those 2. Play this, and this. I guess. What else did I draft? I actually want to do Sear Anger and not Carapace because we have Sap. Basically, we're just playing 2 1 costs and a bunch of zeros. And we still don't have the innates, so I don't think we can play Shore Seas. I think we have to play Singing Sandstorm. There we go. But we're still missing the other Earth because we're playing 3 non-Earths. Dang. We only have 2 energy. No, is what it is for now. Wonder if we don't even have to play Singing Sandstorm and we can play this. Oh, but I have to for the Earth. Hmm. Because I think I have to reclaim this again and just use that to defend on my E2, my E5. Ah, screw it, we'll do it. Gift of Searing Heat. We have Sap, defend 5 here. Nature's Res, defend 6 here. See what the event is. Beast Destroy, Dahan Defend, pull together. Yeah, none of that does anything. Your cards. Isolate, defend 2. This is, could it be helpful? Unlikely. Removes a town from inland. That's pretty sweet. Now I wish I would have isolated this E7. Okay. So Ravages. Build mountains. I said I wish I would have. For some reason, I thought I was playing higher level England, so I'd been able to isolate my E7, remove the town that would stop the build, but they're not building there. So, and the Explore is wetlands with an escalation. Building in our E2. And we have Sear Anger, 1 Badlands. Oops. We'll use Stinging Sandstorm, 1 Fear, moving this presence here, doing 2 damage, killing a town. Then we use our Innate there, 2 damage to Explorers, and then 2 damage. We use that killing the city. And we're going to G3 for some more energy. We'll put this presence over here in E2, getting a minor. We're not going to be able to play many cards, but that's okay. Mainly because we don't have the energy. We have to play the skip, and we have to play Dark Entangled. So we're just looking for a 0 cost, which we got called ISO. Sweltering Exhaustion, 1 Fear, skip the Ravage. Called ISO, push the town and the Explorer out. Dark Entangled, 2 Fear, defend 3. Okay, let's see what that event is. Cities Rise, sure. Add more cities. It also comes with a Beast Push as well as Careful Defense. Tier 2s, not building lands with Strife. Add Strife, adjacent to Beasts, sure. Or, yeah, do not build or explore on lands with Beasts, and then add Strife to adjacent Beasts. That does nothing. I'll remove a town. We'll remove this town here. So Ravage Mountain, we have E2 skipped, wetland build, and the Explorer is Jungle Sands. Use the Innate, killing both Explorers. Time passes, and we will G1 Reclaim. Looking for more 0s. We'll grab Promises, and this is the problem with not playing, where is it? Where's the card? Gift of Searing Heat. This game becomes significantly easier if I can get that energy influx. And we just want to play 0s here. And we got our turn off finally. So we can play a couple 1s. Play those 2. Searing Heat, Stinging Sandstorm. Called ISO. I believe we get max. Yeah, max out Nate now. Got our 5 cards here. Use Gift of Searing Heat, Call to ISO. And I could push this town over here, though I'm not going to. I'll push this Dahan into here. The reason why I'm not pushing the town in here is there is a couple events that add cities to lands with cities, and I don't want to add a city to that land and instantly lose. Overconfidence, lose the fear. Oh, actually, no, it's +1 damage because we're tier 2. Beast Multiply. Coordinate defense. Wetland Ravage. Do our builds. Build, build, build. Explore is Mountain Jungle. Awesome. That's really good for us because that lines up nicely with our how we're gonna defend. Use Stinging Sandstorm, 1 fear, moving here, killing a town. Max Innate, and that's going to do 1 damage to everything, plus 4 individual points of damage, killing all of the cities. It's all dead. Shore Seas, 1 fear, Badlands, Wilds. Sear Anger. We'll actually use the bottom part if there's Wilds, 1 fear, and 1 damage. And we have 3 Badlands here. So it's going to do 4 damage, but in a land with our Sacred Site. So it does 2, 3, 4 damage. So that nice 0 cost 4 damage. Pretty sweet. Your card. There we go. And this time we will, I think we'll still G3 here. I mean, I just get the most energy by just spamming G3. So why complicate things? Once again, looking for zeros. So this is the only 0, Swarming Wasps. And that's what we're gonna do. Just play the zeros here. And a couple ones, of course. There we go. Nature's Res, defend 6. Dark and Tangled Woods, defend 3. Promises, gathering 2 Dahan into my E3. Swarming Wasps, add a beast. So both lands defended. We're currently taking a blight on E1, but I have a hunch that we'll get saved. Add another beast, okay? Dahan defend. Wow, another Dahan defend when exploring at a town. Sure. Bunch of Terror 3s. Strife in a land with presence. Oh, add that Strife to the town, and then the Strife invader deals damage to other invaders in the land. So this town deals 2 damage, killing the city because it's in a sacred site, and that's GG. Let's see what the rest of these Terror 3s were. That's a removal. That would have removed all of this. Build skip. Remove this. Yeah, and this would have traded in the Ravage. Well, it felt kind of like a sloppy game. I know I played a little bit faster than I usually do. Or maybe I didn't play usually. Maybe this is how I usually play, but it felt a little more autopilot-y. I think, I'm trying to think, I felt like it just wasn't as smooth as I wanted this game to be. I'm trying to think how that happened. I think it was just that starting Explorer and that starting draft was just not very nice, I believe. What was my starting card this game? Was it Shore Seas? Maybe I cannot remember. But the fact that both this land and this land came up and I didn't draft a defend in my first 2 drafts kind of hurt. Rising Heat, if Rising Heat gets that defend, it kicks butt. If it gets like energy boons like Gift of Constancy, Nature's Connection, Living Energy, those cards just buff this spirit up significantly. Once again, if you're playing solo, using Gift of Searing Heat is basically that. Just being able to gain 2 energy on this thing just fixes all of its problems. And I mean, I like the problems it has. I mean, if I were to make changes to this thing, I'd probably make this 1 energy. And I would make this the ability to self-target. You'd probably never give it out. So maybe that's an incorrect change. But making this 1 energy makes this a lot better. Though the G2, yeah, no matter what, this has to be 1 energy. I think, yeah, you make this 1 energy, and then I think you adjust one of the cards in your hand. I think you make this card Stinging Sandstorm. I think you make it 0. And as you guys know, I spent quite a bit of time playtesting, and I kind of learned a little bit from just how the developers think. Don't agree on everything that they say, but usually when they give you a perfect element card like Singing Sandstorm, they want it to cost 1. Or they want it to cost energy so you just can't reclaim loop it. So I think that's why they have this at 1. And then the other 2 cards, Sweltering at 2 and Call on Herders at 1, are both pretty fair for what it's doing. Cold Isolation is very similar to Call on Herders and like the effect. And Cold Isolation is one of the best cards in the game. So making this 1 is pretty reasonable. Yeah, it's really tough on how you would change it. I mean, you could just flat out nerf G3 and it probably would be fine, though it would feel a little bit weak. Maybe you make the innate a little bit easier to hit, because hitting this innate in the early game is just atrocious. Maybe you make this first fire 2, like you make it 2 and 2, and you make this 3. I wonder how that would play out. Okay, well, if you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next video.